What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another coffee experiment. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody is staying safe. Check out my sweet new quarantine haircut. I think it looks pretty good. Today we have another coffee experiment. And what we're going to do is brew green coffee. So I have here Java State, Papua New Guinea, Kenya, and some Brazil. So I'm gonna do this a little bit of my own experiment. I've never brewed green coffee before, so first off, I don't know how that's gonna go. I don't know how it's gonna taste, I don't know how it's gonna brew, but I'm gonna try that in itself, and then I'm gonna do these 4 different kinds of coffee, all green coffee, and we'll see if there's any difference between any of them, whether or not they taste better. Now, I did a quick little Google, and I found a few different ways that you can brew green coffee, and I'm gonna test those 3 different ways. Well, I guess there's kind of only 2 methods, because one was grinding the coffee, and I don't want to do that because green coffee beans are like rocks if you've never held them. I don't want to put that through any kind of grinder, especially not the one I have here. It's not that expensive, it's not that nice. It's not like the grinder, the commercial grinder I have back at the store. But to show you green coffee, hopefully you can see it, for anybody who hasn't seen green coffee, it's literally just like coffee beans. They're just smaller, denser, green, not brown. But they have not been roasted, they're completely raw. I'm gonna just go through the steps that I found online of how to brew green coffee, and then we'll have green coffee extract or green coffee concentrate, whatever you wanna call it. It's basically gonna be like a tea with coffee, which is what coffee's like already. But this time we're not grinding anything, we're literally just steeping the beans, some boiling water, you let it sit for a little bit, and then you have green coffee bean extract. The other thing I'm gonna do is mix a couple of these beans. So we'll have each of them individually, and then we'll have a batch of some beans that are mixed and see if, again, that has any difference whatsoever, or if they all taste the same. And actually, before I get started, I'll do the majority of the talking here, and then in the video will be a little bit more of just you watching the process go along, so it'll be faster. There's, like I said, 2 ways. One, in both of the ways, you boil the coffee, but in one of them, you let it sit in water overnight. So it claims the ratio is the same, so the same amount of coffee to water. I've seen a 1-to-3 coffee to water, and one of the recipes that's sitting overnight is 20 grams of coffee to 300 milliliters of water. So that's only 10 ounces of water. So there's 30 milliliters in 1 ounce of water, so 20 grams, 300 milliliters, whatever. So I'm gonna walk through the experiment part. Like I said, it's gonna be me trying these 4 different kinds of coffee to see if there's any difference between the 4 of them, whether or not that's the overnight method or just the regular let it boil in water for 12 to 15 minutes is roughly what I saw, and see if there's any difference there. So I'll also have some mixes of coffee, like I said, but that's the experiment part. The rest of it's pretty straightforward. Actually doing it's pretty straightforward. So I'm not gonna be talking too much while I show you myself actually boiling the coffee and making the green coffee extract, tea, whatever you want to call it. So it'll just be quicker. I just want to do the majority of the talking now, and then I'll taste it and tell you whether or not I taste the difference. Obviously, I'll have to wait until tomorrow to do the coffee or the method that's overnight, but let's get it started, and then we'll check back in once the coffee is done brewing. So we just got done, and the couple things I wanted to point out, the directions or recipes, I guess, that I'm gonna provide for you that I followed, they do it by volume, not by weight. I did everything by weight, which you'll see I used a scale. 1 cup of, let's say Brazil is different than 1 cup of Papua New Guinea. They're gonna be different because they're different densities, they're different sizes. So I do it by weight. It's a 1 to 3, which means I weigh out my coffee and then I weigh out my water, just for consistency, especially when trying to experiment and see the differences between these. That was a process only because every time I tried to set something up to do it, I was trying to film it at the same time. We have our 4 coffees. We successfully made green coffee extract. I keep wanting to say green tea extract. Green coffee bean extract. And I use 4 different types of coffee. So we have Brazil, we have Papua New Guinea, the writing totally smudged, but that's okay. Then we have a Kenya AA Fancy and Java Estate. So I use CCM Coffee out of Tampa. Shout out to them, they're awesome. It's ccmcoffee.com. I could put a link down in the description below if anybody wants to check them out, but those are the coffees that I used. They're all done. The only thing I will say, these 2 were done way before these 2 were done, so they've been sitting for a while. And as you know, when you brew coffee, if you brew the coffee and let it sit, the flavors will change. I don't know if that holds true when you're talking about green coffee bean extract. I would assume it does, but I've also never tasted this. And yes, I've been completely honest, I haven't had a sip. I have no idea what this tastes like. I've never had this before in my life, I've never made it. So this is a first for me. We're gonna go through, taste them. I have Jen here who's gonna taste them with me. So
I'm nervous.
I guess we'll both start. I guess you just start here, I'll start here, and we'll just work our way.
I feel like we should try the same one at the same time.
All right, fine, we'll try the same one at the same time.
Talk about our flavor profiles.
Okay, we'll see.
What are we starting with, Brazil?
Yeah, we're starting with Brazil,
Brazil.
okay? So hopefully you can see that. Brazil, I'll tell you right now, the colors differ, which honestly I wasn't sure. The beans are different, yeah, but I mean, it's just straight up green coffee and all the colors are different. So that's cool. I know they're gonna taste different too.
It smells like a little bit like dirt, but also like a certain kind of beans. Like when
coffee beans?
No, like when it smells like when you cook some kind of bean. I don't know what bean it is, but I've had it before. Like bean soup, like that's what it smells like.
Interesting. Let's taste them.
All right, let's get
Brazil.
to the good stuff.
Wow. Okay.
It literally tastes like dirt water.
No, not dirt water. If you smell green coffee beans, it tastes like if you were just to drink them, which I guess makes sense. It's potent. It's creamy almost. Have you had lima beans?
That's the bean!
It's lima beans.
That's the bean I was talking about.
It's lima beans.
It's a lima
very,
bean.
very lima bean-y. Okay.
Lima bean. No, it doesn't taste very lemony, I swear.
We're going for it.
This is
Papua New Guinea.
Papa. That one looks worse. I don't know. Lima.
Pretty much the same.
I almost took like a giant sip the first time.
But you know what? This I feel like would be good if you were to mix it with something. Like it needs a flavor, because the flavor in itself is very earthy and very beany.
Like imagine you go to your backyard, scoop up a cup of dirt, add some hot water. That's what I'm getting.
I would say it's a little better than that because it has some sort of taste to it. It's just not necessarily like the most pleasant or friendly flavor. I don't know. It's palatable. I would make a drink with it. And there's recipes that I've seen that are like you use this with different like sodas and.
Well, I was excited because I love refreshers from Starbucks and they say they use this in them for the caffeine, and I was hoping it would taste kind of good or similar to like the base of a refresher, but sure doesn't. So I don't know what they do, but we're gonna try to make a refresher later.
We'll see. This is Kenya. Kenya AA Fancy. AA is just a grading scale. Kind of means best of the best. So
4.0.
hopefully this should.
But this one should look lightest, I think, between him and Papa.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I
That
think
was
that
worse.
one might have been the worst.
Oh God.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad. It was just more bitter than anything.
That was not good.
But I think,
Oof.
yeah, that one's potent. I also want to point out this one, surprise, surprise, I steeped a little bit longer. So this was steeped for 15 minutes. All of these were steeped for 12. Again, throughout the video, I'll kind of like pause them and just put what I'm doing, or how long I'm boiling them, the temperature, how much I'm weighing out, what, you know, every step that I'm doing will be explained in the video. But so you already know this, but these were boiled for 12 minutes, not boiled, brought to a boil and then steeped for 12 minutes. This one was steeped for 15, which is a little bit longer. So
Really? They're making
now
my
I'm starting to
tummy
think that that wouldn't have been, wasn't just the best idea.
hurt. Not taste like green tea.
Honestly,
Better than Kenya?
this was the most mild. I think that was the most like, it still tastes very similar, but it was not, it wasn't like
Yeah.
as bitter or
Not as bad as Kenya.
potent. Yeah.
Overall, I don't know if I...
Yeah, so I would say that this is definitely something to mix with other beverages or make a drink with. There's a lot of health benefits out there. There is actually a lot of research on coffee. Basically, on a molecular level, there's different mechanisms of different compounds in coffee, like chlorogenic acid, like caffeine, all other sort of like phytonutrients. There's definitely that aspect if this is what you're going for, if you want to make your own green coffee bean extract for that reason. I mean, do it. It's not like it's something that's absolutely unpalatable. It just definitely would need to go into something. Still try it, and it wasn't hard to make at all. Like I said, it only took me a while because I was trying to film everything at the same time and make sure that it made sense what I was doing like chronologically. But if I were to just go into the kitchen and like make some of this, it would really, the longest part would be letting it steep for 12 minutes. And that's not that long at all. Go ahead and try it. Right out the pot, not that great. Get some green coffee. I don't have my roaster here, which is what sparked my interest to do this. I don't have my roaster roast coffee. I roasted in a Stir Crazy. That didn't work that well, so I decided I would try this. Now you know, now I know. I'll probably see if we can make some drink with this, and if we can, then I'll keep making it. But I'm gonna do the overnight one a different time, and you know, review on that. I have a feeling it's pretty much gonna taste the same. So I think we got our final product. This is what it is. Go ahead and go try it yourself. ccmcoffee.com. There's tons of other places you can get green coffee from. This is just the one that I use. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.